For 10 years, he tore up the ice and terrorized opponents as an enforcer in the NHL, even winning 2 Stanley Cups with the Blackhawks and earning the nickname Car Bomb.
Today, he says he's living with brain damage and continues his battle now off the ice to fight for brain health, transparency, and greater awareness when it comes to the great debate over concussions.
WGN's Julie Unruh was here with the story of former left-winger Daniel Carcillo.
He's got a lot to say on the subject, so let's get straight to it. Daniel Carcillo is taking on the league head-on, blaming the NHL for where he is today. He said he gave the game everything he had since he first picked up a stick at the age of 4. He put it down when he was 30, retiring with 2 Stanley Cup championships. He also retired with 7 diagnosed concussions after 10 years with the NHL. The traumatic brain injury that resulted from it all, he says, a game changer for this native Canadian who still calls Chicago home.
Two horizontal tears in both ankles. Arthritis in my ankles, no PCL in my right knee. 5 MCL tears, numerous neck tears, and 7 diagnosed concussions.
All by the age of 30. Today, former Chicago Blackhawk Daniel Carcillo, at 34, is an advocate for brain health after he claims his body and his brain took a beating in the NHL.
Last year, I'm a 33-year-old man. I have a foundation, I have a business, I have 3 beautiful children, I have a beautiful wife, everybody's healthy, I have a roof over my head, I have a car that I can drive, and I'm financially secure. And yet I'm thinking about driving off and killing myself.
After retiring from the sport of hockey, the former left winger struggles with depression and anxiety.
I'm not cured. There's no cure for this. You have a certain amount of brain capacity, and once that's gone, it's gone. There's a lot of guys that are dead now because they didn't understand.
Understand, he says, the long-term effects of head trauma and sports. Guys like former Chicago Blackhawks teammate and best friend, Steve Montador, who 4 years ago died at the age of 35. An autopsy revealed he was living with extensive chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE.
Sometimes I feel him sitting beside me.
The NHL is being sued by dozens of players over concussions and just how much the league knew about the effects of them. The current agreement totals almost $20 million and would give each player named in the suit a one-time $22,000 payout, with the potential for $75,000 more for medical treatment. In the deal, there is no acknowledgement from the NHL that hockey could be contributing to bad brain health. Carcillo is opting out.
22 grand's an insult.
Compare that with the NFL settlement for concussions. It totaled $1 billion.
I will not settle. I will continue to fight, and I want treatment for the rest of my life.
Steve Montador's family is suing the league too. And the latest development, an investigation by ESPN. It lays out how evaporating insurance coverage could be the biggest threat to contact sports on every level. Without it, soccer, football, and yes, hockey could face extinction.
I actually don't agree with it.
Dan Burns, president and CEO of PFS in Chicago, insures pro athletes and celebrities. He insures Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, and the NHL. He also insures 75% of their pro teams, not to mention thousands of pro athletes.
We insure individuals for upwards of, in the highest case, probably close to $1 million a week.
Even though general liability and workers' compensation are not on PFS's menu for sports, Burns knows the insurance business.
Insurance coverage is not the threat to the sport. The long-term unknown effects of CTE or playing youth sports that involve contact or risk of head injury is the risk to those sports.
And Burns says players are more willing than ever to walk away from a lucrative career because of the potential long-term risks to the brain. It doesn't help that there's no clear-cut criteria when it comes to concussions, or worse, CTE. He says its subjective nature results in a fear of the unknown.
Concussions and head trauma have existed for a long time. I think the correlation between it and long-term neurological problems are relatively new.
So Burns says the game has to change. Carcillo's answer, don't change the game, inform the players.
There's a need for this type of understanding for post-concussive symptoms.
These days, the retired two-time Stanley Cup champ is running his nonprofit called Chapter 5 to help athletes transition into what he calls the real world. He launched a YouTube channel showing subscribers how they can treat traumatic brain injury. Soon he'll debut a podcast and recently started paralegal classes. He's even working on a book.
What's the point of playing professional sports?
His outspoken and unfiltered opinions about the NHL have cost him friends, money, and relationships over the years. But the empire Carcillo is building and the platforms he's using, designed to bring hope to the hopeless and shed a light on concussions like never before.
I'm just getting started. I haven't even really begun.
The NHL has no comment on our story and has nothing further to say about the player's settlement pertaining to concussions. Yesterday was CTE Awareness Day, so that's when Daniel Carcillo launched his YouTube channel devoted to bringing hope to those living and likely suffering from traumatic brain injury. Athletes, veterans, first responders, even victims of domestic violence. Carcillo is a pretty busy guy, as you saw. For links to his new YouTube channel, his foundation, and more, just head to our website, WGNTV.com, and he has a whole lot more to say.
Yeah, it sounds like he is as tenacious with this new chapter in his life as he was as a hockey player.
As he said, it's just beginning.
Yeah.